What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Fall Obsession podcast episode. My name is Sam Thrash. I'm your host over here. Thank you guys for tuning in. This week, Nick and myself are joined by the one and only Trent Ellis on Fall Obsession podcast. You guys may recognize Trent from social media or TikTok. He's the guy with the country accent with the big red beard that's always doing funny videos. And that's exactly what stood out to me the first time I saw him. I was like, man, this guy is hilarious. And what he's doing a video about is a very relatable problem or issue or occurrence, right, in everyday life for just your normal blue collar person. So, and that's what Trent tries to bring to his audience is just that authenticity, that relatability. And he talks about that in our show. We talk about everything, just life in general, hunting, the outdoors, his journey, all that kind of stuff. Trent's one of those guys that once you start talking to him, you just feel like you've known him forever. And Nick and I really enjoyed this conversation. It's a good time with Trent for sure. So hope you guys enjoyed the podcast. Before we turn it over to the episode, though, I want to hit a couple quick things for you guys. First, I want to point you in the direction of fallobsession.com. That's our website. And right now we are having our 2025 turkey hunt contest in the spring of 2025. So if you guys are turkey hunting this year or you've already killed your bird this year and you want to enter it in the contest, head on over there to the website or go to fallobsession.com/hunt-competition, and that's going to tell you guys exactly how the contest works, how you can enter, how the scoring works, who's eligible. Pretty much anybody that hunts in North America is eligible to enter in this contest. And what we need from you guys to help score your bird, all that kind of stuff, it's found right there on the webpage, and from there you guys can register. A chance to win cash prizes, gear from Hoot Camo, VP Archery, and Wiley X. We also have 2 sweepstakes that are running alongside of this competition. You can get tickets for those sweepstakes at registration. The first one is a gear sweepstakes where we will select multiple different winners to take home gear from the partners that I just mentioned. And the other one is a sweepstakes for a $9,000 safari package from News on Safaris. More details are on that webpage and everything, and again, you can pick up those tickets at registration. But guys, go get in on the 2025 turkey hunt competition. It's too good to miss out on. We want you guys involved. We want you to get plugged in and enter those birds. So head on over to the website and check it out. You guys have until June 8th of 2025 to enter the contest. And last but not least, make sure you're following Fall Obsession on all the major social media platforms. If you are active on the platform, we are there as well. Go subscribe to the YouTube. You can catch the podcast video versions on our YouTube channel, as well as our other hunting shows and films that we produce. We are a hunting and outdoor media production company, so this is our jam. This is what we do. And then, guys, go check out Carbon TV if you haven't already. We have 4 different hunting shows and podcasts that are streaming on Carbon TV that are produced by us here at Fall Obsession. This show that you guys are tuned into right now is on there, as well as our staff-inspired video podcast series called Couch Chats, and our 2 different hunting shows, Texas Dirt and Midwest Mindset. All those can be found on Carbon TV. It's like Netflix for hunting, but it's free. You guys can start streaming immediately. Go check it out today. Stay tuned during the episode for some discount codes from our partners and sponsors of the show. And with that, we are going over to our conversation with Trent Ellis. You guys are listening to another Fall Obsession podcast.
Oh, you got her, dude. She's down. Let's go.
Dude, I just shot a deer of a lifetime.
Freaking smoked him.
One with nature, and if you're a believer, one with God.
Definitely gets your heart pumping. Boy, you are in trouble.
Fall Obsession Podcast.
Welcome back, everybody. Another Fall Obsession podcast. Me and Nick are on here with the man himself, Trent Ellis. Welcome to our show, man. Thanks for joining us.
Thank y'all for having me.
Man, I'm super stoked. I'm sure that especially for people that are watching the video, they probably recognize your face. You're kind of popping up all over social media, I feel like right now. So, and not in a bad way, in an entertaining way. And I've definitely enjoyed a lot of your videos. I can relate to a lot of them for sure. It's good stuff.
Well, I appreciate it. That's what I try to go for every time. Is just relatable. It may bother some folks and it may help some folks, but as long as it's relatable, I'm okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
So man, where are you from and what is your background?
Man, I'm from a very small town in North Mississippi called Manatee, and I am just like every other average Joe that grew up in the country, wanting to learn how to hunt and fish and do all that kind of stuff. And I did 4 years in the Marines. I did 3 years in the Guard, and went to college at Mississippi State. Not doing what I went to college for at all. And I've been in finance for the last 5 years, I should say. And then I was just one of those guys, man, that just kind of figured, what the heck, I think I got some funny stuff that folks might laugh at. Let me try TikTok and Facebook and all this stuff out, and it's worked for us. So, not really a huge big story or nothing like that, but just an average guy willing to try a bunch of different things.
I think, I mean, I already mentioned the relatable part, but that's probably what I enjoy the most is, I mean, you see different trends on social media and people doing the reels and the little skits and that kind of stuff, but I mean, a lot of yours and the ones that first started popping up to me were like the hunting and outdoor related ones, rightfully so, right? Because that's pretty much all of my social feed, and
Yeah,
yeah, I was like, man, this guy's like spot on. This is my problem. I have this same problem right
Yeah.
here. So,
yeah. Well, that's what I started off in hunting because that's my passion would be, getting out in the woods and doing all that. But so I had just a ton of material from that I was just like, man, there's so many aspects of hunting. No matter what you're hunting or fishing or whatever, there's just so many things that are comical, that from personal experience and from buddy stories and all this kind of stuff. And now we've kind of transitioned from, instead of just strictly doing hunting content, I try to get out there and do a little more broad comedy. Um, but I feel like that's just the way it's going to be. The more, here in a few years, I might be doing shorts on what it's like at T-ball games,
oh yeah.
and all.
Well, that's the cool thing is it's like it's following you too and what's going on in your life and relatable stuff. Like I think of that I guess you got had a big old tree cut down or something and like you made that one last a while as far as the
Yeah.
content goes and that was pretty funny.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I was like, man, there's several things that can come out of this. And I knew the tree was going to be good too, because the tree is one of those that you're going to have people automatically just, what are you doing? Well, so it's kind of controversial.
Yeah.
And then you're
Yes.
going to have people come on there and be like, well, it's his land, it's his tree, whatever, so I knew it would do well, but yeah, just trying to do things that, like I said, overall, as long as it honors God and I can be proud of my family watching it, and I'm not having to hide them away from what I'm currently doing.
Mhm.
And as long as it's relatable, I mean, I don't know. I'll video about anything, especially if it happens to me.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
Do you have people that watch your stuff and they're like, "Man, I think he's picking on me. I think I'm that character
Oh yeah. Oh,
that."
dude. So what's crazy? I got a great story for that. So a good buddy of mine, well, I say he was I know him a little bit. I played golf with him a couple times, and he's a good dude. Um, but last year we were hunting together. I want to say at the beginning of the year, and we had one hunt that I was supposed to shoot the bird. His buddy ended up shooting it. No big deal at all. No big deal at all. And I made a video like maybe 2 or 3 weeks after that. And I was portraying a guy that, I think he was a guy that had a lot of, like, his daddy owned a lot of private land, and he's sitting there telling me how to hunt and everything, and I'm picking on him for basically being able to go out there in his truck and kill birds whenever he wants to, and just going into several different details. And I swear it had nothing to do with this guy at all. and he texted me butthurt about it, and I was like, bro, that has not like, and he just started like comparing, giving me comparisons. Like, you said this, that's what happened with me. You said this, that's my dad. You said this amount of acreage, that's the exact amount of acreage I told you that we own. And I was like, bro, I swear, like I know what it looks. I know what it looks like, dude, but I swear that was not about you. So, yeah, I've had that, and yeah, I've I've had people, that I see, especially around town, like, hey, were you talking about so and so? That I'm like, yeah, yeah, I was.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
That's funny.
A-
but
And I guess the $1 million question is, does the wife ever get mad at you for portraying the wife in some of your videos, as far as the mannerisms that come with that?
nope. As long as these platforms keep paying me, she ain't mad about nothing.
As long as it's
She
worth it, yeah.
As long as she's because it's funny because like I said, I try to everything I do, I try to make it relatable. Some of this stuff doesn't happen to me. I just know it happens to millions of other people. Like what I portray for Bree and how she is pretty much the opposite of how she is. She never raises her voice. She never nags on me about going hunting, or whatever. Um, I mean, she's a dang good wife, but she's not a nag, is what I'm saying. But
Right.
I know there's a lot of wives who aren't and who are nag, you know. I know there's a lot. I play a lot of pushover guys, I'm not a pushover, but I know there's a lot out there, and I know there's a lot of people who relate to it. So I play that character sometimes. So, but no, I've been very fortunate. I haven't done anything yet to hit the right trigger. Well, I take that. Only time that I do is when I wear some clothes that she hasn't given me the go ahead on, and I end up stretching them out and ruin them. I turn it into great content uniform from
Yeah.
about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotten pissed about a couple of those. Yeah,
Yeah, my wife would probably not be thrilled about that part either.
yeah,
You
yeah.
gotta
She's coming in like, "What are you wearing that for?" And I'm like, "Babe, just give me 5 minutes and we'll talk about it." Like I'm almost done.
Yeah.
yeah,
I'll get you another one.
Yeah,
you gotta have
she's
Trent's section of the closet.
yeah. Oh, dude, this whole double doors right here is hers. All right, I've got one little single closet that's about that big, and it's got all my stuff in. And look, I can't tell you the amount of shoes that we've got right here in the box.
That sounds about like ours. Mine's it's like 3/4 of our closet. We have a little walk-in deal, and 3/4 of it's all hers, and I have my corner. I got my corner where I got my nice shirts and my nice jeans, and that's about it. So
Yep.
Yep, that's right. That's right.
it's normally how it goes. So what how did I want to go back a little bit to just your background and kind of growing up and everything. What was your journey to get into hunting? Was it just always part of your life from the get-go, or was there a moment growing up that you kind of piqued an interest in it? What'd that look like for you?
Well, my dad never hunted. Well, he hunted a little bit growing up, but he never took us hunting. It was his brother that got my older brother into hunting, who got me into hunting. And I was around it because of Trey, my brother. Seeing him come back with our uncle and killing deer and stuff like that. So it was always kind of I was around it per se, but it was never one of those things like I was missing out on him and dad going to hunting camp and all this kind of stuff. But I would say I started to really peak in interest when I was probably 5 or 6 years old. Where we lived at the time was right beside our grandparents' house, and right across from our grandparents' house, my brother had permission to hunt on. And he took, I want to say Trey was probably right at 12 years old. He took the four wheeler, rode down the road, went across on the property with Daddy's 1187 with a slug, no slug barrel or nothing like that, just a Remington 1187. Trey threw 3 slugs in there, and right at daylight, he popped a nice 7 point. And Mama woke me up, and she said, "Your brother's killed a deer. Come on out here." So with no pants or clothes on at all, I run kid, they're having to bring me back in. It's the first time I can remember being excited about that kind of stuff. And I remember, going into the woods with Trey and Daddy and tracking the deer, and coming up on it and seeing a big, huge hole right there in the side of its neck, shot at the dang thing like 10 yards. So, uh, but I just remember thinking how cool it was. So from then to the time I was 9, I didn't hunt. I didn't get to hunt at all. So anytime they would come in with deer or kill or anything like that, I just break down and cry and just whine and all that kind of stuff because I wanted to go. And then I killed my first deer at 9, and ever since, like I would say from then until I graduated high school, that's all I did was hunt. I mean, I would finish out a season. That's why I didn't play baseball in high school. Part of the reason why I didn't play basketball, I mean, football was perfect because we sucked. So we quit playing at the 1st of October. Like, as soon as bow season hit, we ain't going to the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? We're playing August, September, and maybe the first week of October, we're done. And so I played football, and then, like I said, I joined the Marines. And when I got out, that's when I really, like, because I didn't hunt hardly at all when I was in the service. And when I got out, I was like, I'm making up for lost time. So I tried to make sure that as long as I could pay the bills, that I started putting myself in a position to where I could hunt as much as humanly possible. I didn't want to just hunt weekends. I wanted to hunt, all through the week and still be able to make money and all this kind of stuff and pay the bills. Uh and I started hunting in college, Lord of mercy, 4, 5, 6, sometimes 7 days a week. And that's where I really started honing in on public land hunting. And now this past spring, Lord, I don't even think I killed a public land bird. Uh, had good opportunities with social media, but yeah, it's just been, I guess, since I was 9 years old, man. When I killed my first deer, it didn't matter if it was deer, duck, turkey. I just wanted to go hunt.
Yeah, you were
Yeah,
going.
I was eat up with it.
That's awesome.
Yep.
So do you hunt mostly public there in Mississippi?
Up until this year, I'd say, yeah.
Yeah.
This year for deer, I hunted one deer all year on the same piece of public. And primarily what I hunt, I killed a deer on my place right here behind my house, which was, I think, the only Mississippi deer I killed. No, there was two. I killed one here. I went on a tethered hunt in South Mississippi. I killed one there, and I killed one in South Dakota. But all of the deer that I killed this year were on private land. But normally, it's a lot of public. But I'd say I'm transitioning to more private, or at least that's what I've done this past deer and turkey season. But harvesting wise, but I probably went on public last year 10, 15 times,
Yeah.
maybe 20 going after this one deer. And that's what it's been up until this past year. It's just all public. But
Yeah.
it doesn't matter to me. I'm just one of those guys that just likes to get out there and hunt, you know.
I hear you, man. Yeah, I
Heck
feel
yeah.
like here in Texas, like we have public land, but unless you are like fully committed, like I know some guys that are fully committed and they go way back in there and they only hunt public and they're good hunters and they get on some nice deer, but it seems like it's so saturated. And I don't know if it's that way where you're at, but our public lands here seem like they're just filled up with people, especially beginning of the season and whatnot. And of course,
Yeah.
it's getting harder and harder to come by private land access. We're blessed and get to hunt private land, have an awesome setup, but yeah, the public land game is kind of weird in the South. You go up north and it's like freaking everywhere. I feel like, but yeah,
Yeah.
it's a grind down here where we are at least. So
Well, Texas, y'all have like the worst state for public land, from what I hear, because y'all are such a huge state with a ton of land, but the majority of it is private.
yeah,
Yeah, I
Whereas
think like
this-
2% of the state of Texas is public, and so it makes it even
Yeah.
even harder, So
I think Mississippi is like 8 to 13%, somewhere in there, public. But we've got just about wherever you live in Mississippi, you're gonna be within 30 minutes of public land somewhere. It
Mm.
may be dog crap, but you're still gonna be there's gonna be something on there. Um,
Hey guys, sorry to cut y'all off from the conversation. We'll get back to it in just a second, but first I want to tell you guys about Hoot Camo. Hoot Camo is one of the best camouflage brands out there for the blue collar hunter. The prices, you can't beat them. The patterns are extremely versatile. They work in so many different environments. I have worn Hoot Camo hunting whitetails, hogs, and turkeys down here in the hardwoods, the mesquites, the scrub brush of Texas. I've worn it in the flatland plains of eastern Colorado hunting mule deer. I've even worn it in the mountains of central Idaho hunting elk. It works in so many different places. It is extremely high quality gear, extremely warm, holds up well against the elements. You cannot beat it. Go to hootcamo.com, use the code FallObsession15 on your next order, no matter how big or small it is, and check out everything that Hoot Camo has on there for you guys.
But yeah, I think the public, man, there's been a big push towards public land hunting since the Hunting Public came out specifically.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like first of all, I don't care what anybody says. If you're gauging like the hunter itself, I think you're better hunters of guys that you can hand them a bow or you can hand them a gun and you can give them a map and say, hey, go harvest an animal in the next 5 days over here. If you take a primarily private or a primarily public guy, the public guy is going to probably come out better on this end. But it's people have like gone so far as to where they don't even get on private that they can hunt just because they don't want to kill a deer and put it on Facebook unless they can put
Public land, yeah.
Kentucky public land, Mississippi public land. And it's like, I get it. I get it from a pride standpoint, but I'm the kind of guy that I just like to kill stuff. And I'm not afraid to, like, when I go places to hunt, I'm not going for the hunt and the fellowship and this is just cool. No, I'm going to kill something. I want to kill something. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
That's what I like doing. I don't like just sitting out there in the woods and coming home with an empty cart or backpack. It's like I like to be hauling something out. So I don't care if it's public or private, man. There's places, like I said, the biggest deer I hunted in the last 2 years was on public up here at the house. And that's why I kept going after him. It was hard as crap getting to him and where he was, and shot him last 2 seasons ago. Didn't kill him, and then this past season didn't even see him in the stand, or the saddle. But yeah, I don't care, man. I just like to kill stuff.
Yeah.
So that's why.
So that's a 2-year history with that buck, or longer maybe. I don't know. You said you shot him 2 years ago, but
I shot him 2 seasons ago with a muzzleloader. Made a terrible shot, very long, threw a bunch of crap, terrible angle, and just nicked him. And I got him on camera last August. I want to say August or September of 24. And I was like, holy crap. Because he's like 150-inch 8-point, 9-point. I mean, just a big, big Mississippi deer. And I just committed right then. I was like, I've got to go after this deer. I know I had all last year of finding this place, finding this deer. Now I know the area. Now I'm going to hone in. And I got him on camera the last time, December the 7th. He was running through with, I kid you not, 5 other good bucks and like 6 or 7 other does. Like they just a whole herd of them come across my camera. And that was the last time I saw him. So, but that's part of it,
Yeah.
That's part of it.
So you think he's still kicking this year, or was that probably it, you think?
I don't know. I really don't know. I'm going to put more cameras out at the end of summer.
Yeah.
I know where he will come through, but there's another deer that I've hunted. There's a couple of deer in there where I hunt that are pretty good deer.
Yeah.
I would say they're good enough to go on Trent's wall, which is not huge, But,
I mean, you see what's behind me. It ain't got to be big neither. So
yeah, well, no, I just spend more money and put shoulders behind them. So yeah, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, support your local taxidermist.
But yeah, I'm I saw something on a podcast, and it was a guy talking about. I think his first name's Daniel. He's from Alabama, but he was talking about if you run cameras and you see deer come through like November the 15th of this year, and you see the next year, those deer coming through there the 15th through the 17th or whatever. That third year, you better have your butt in the woods between the 13th and the 18th of that spot because regardless of acorns or water, it's a place that for whatever reason during that small window they travel through. And I have a ton of data to go through from the last 2 years up there. And if this deer is still alive, I will get a shot at him on the very first day of season
There you go.
because the last 2 years he has come through within 3 minutes of legal shooting light at the end of it. And that's every time after that, it was either during the rut and got him on camera sporadically, or it was, after dark. So
Yeah.
we'll see.
Man, it's so crazy and it's a blessing and a curse in my opinion. Like cell cams and all the information you can collect from them and that kind of stuff. Like it can make you smarter or it can just absolutely run your mind ragged, I feel like, as far as trying to figure stuff out. We've run into that problem because we run reveal cell cams out at our place and everything, and especially this last year, like just trying to figure out what some of these bucks were doing. And we had some guys on our show here that were, some whitetail management and specialists and some biologists on the show, and they were talking about, all the different things that impact whitetail movement and everything. And one of our own guys on our team up in New York, he was even telling me it was actually a deer that Nick had an encounter with this last year. He was telling me, he was like, yeah, you need to be out there during this date range because this buck is going to do this. And sure enough, he was spot on accurate. That's exactly what that buck did. But I mean, I'm just trying to put it all together. I've told my dad before too, because I've been hunting with him since I was little. It's like, man, hunting was so much more fun when I was dumber. Like when all you did was just go out there
Yeah.
and sit in the stand, and if something showed up, great. If not, you walked out and went home and try again the next day. Like instead of like,
Yeah.
oh, he's coming in every day, every afternoon at 4:30. He's gonna be there between 4:30 and 5, and when he doesn't show up, you're just all worked up and disappointed and trying to figure out what you did wrong. And it's like, man, I don't remember this kind of stress when I was little.
Well, I mean, hey, I've used cell cams for the last 3 or 4 years, and I mean, last year I used them. I used Tacticams more than I did anything. Like more than I ever have, and it was it was very helpful. But it was also, if I hadn't have had the cameras there, maybe I would have, gone to those spots. Because I remember one time there was a specific instance to where my buddy Cam came up from Georgia, and we hunted another piece of public, and we were both in the saddle. I was filming him, and I said, "Look at that!" And one of my other big deer come out just right there in front of the camera, just looking. And that was one I was in my mind that day. I was going, all right, we either go here, I get this deer maybe, or we go over here. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna let this sit. I'm gonna let this spot rest. We're gonna go over here, and then of course, big boy pops out. But I don't know, man. I'm at that point to where it's still not too easy for me because I mean I killed I didn't kill my buck last year, and I had everything.
Yeah.
So until it gets to the point that it is too easy, I'm gonna use every edge that I can have on these, every little advantage I can have on them. I'm gonna try to use it because I'm
Oh
just
yeah.
not that ain't that good of a hunter yet.
You're
I get to
talking
the
to
point
two
where it's
dudes in the
just
same
too
boat.
easy, then I'll start
You
making
and
it
me
hard for
both.
myself. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're talking to two guys that are right there with you. So, yeah, we're on the struggle bus every year, man.
Yeah.
Every year.
Yeah. And people are like, because I'll tell you what happened here. Look, the deer that I killed that's hanging up on my wall, um, this past season, I went out there and I was in a blind with a feeder 40 yards out in front of me, spitting corn at 80 miles an hour. and all legal, by the way. I mean, I videoed it and everything. So, and I shot at it the first day at 47 yards. And it took me like 2.5 weeks of hunting this deer to finally, because he would always come out at the edge of the field right at dark. And he'd just stand there. He'd just wait for you. Like, he could be like, okay, now he can't shoot. And then he'd start to walk out. I'd be right there for the next 35 minutes waiting on him to leave.
Torture.
That one day he walked out and I drew and he kept walking and I was trying to get the camera and I think I was drawn for nearly 2 minutes and I finally was just like, hey, that right there, I'm gonna shoot him right there. And I shot plumb over his back, made a terrible shot. And I said, you know what? Screw this. I've got a crossbow hanging up in the laundry room. What am I doing? And I went the very next day and I shot him at 50 with a crossbow. Dude, I don't care, man. I just, I want to get out there with the bow. I want to do this. I want to do that. But I'm not going to look at a set of live antlers for too long, just so a certain percentage of people can go, you did it right, buddy.
Yeah. Golly. You're exactly right.
Yeah.
Yeah. As long as it's legal, as long as it's legal and ethical, and I'm not making a bad example for children. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's like, I'm going to do what I want to do. You're going to do what you're going to want to do. So, but I'm going to film it and get the praise and the hate. So it's whatever.
Well, I mean, that's anybody. Like, I'm an archery only guy, and everybody that I know, including this guy from time to time, they rag on me a little bit about it. Like, hey, be a whole lot easier if you just bust out a rifle, but I won't do it. So I'm probably in that small percentage of people you just talked about. But no, I got nothing against guys that use rifles. I'll be clear, but
yeah, and you may not, if you shoot one with a rifle, you may not get that same feeling you get punch one with a bow, with a stick and string.
Yeah.
And if that doesn't bring you happiness, dude, go out there with a Tim Wells edition spear. It doesn't matter. It's like, hey, whatever makes you happy. But I mean, it does make me feel better when I shoot one with a bow. But when I can poke one at 110 and see him drop and pull the side by side up and throw him in the back and tilt the side by side bed up and throw a little, dude, with coffee. No, I get just as much enjoyment out of that, brother.
You got one
hard
of
to
them
beat.
fancy side by sides.
Oh yeah. You're gonna do it right.
Absolutely.
But,
oh, that's good stuff. What I want to know. This is a random question, but I'm inclined to ask. What is your deer hunting snack of choice?
oh, it's OG oatmeal cream pie.
Can't go wrong with that.
I
Can't
mean,
go
if
wrong
I'm
with
sitting
that.
at the house, I'm a huge little. That's the only woman I'd ever leave my wife for is Little Debbie. Here at the house, it's fudge rounds all day. But there's something about in the woods. If it's oatmeal cream pie first, and then if I can get some spicy beef jerky and cheese,
Mm.
dude,
That's making me want to be in a deer stand right now.
do you a deer?
I know.
I mean, hey, it's good. What about y'all? What's y'all's go-to snacks?
Oh man, I've like growing up, it was always and still to this day, like it was Pop-Tarts like in the morning. Like you'd take a Pop-Tart into the morning hunt with you every time. That's what my dad always did, and so I grew up doing that. I'll have typically
Pop-Tarts down on the list, dude. I haven't had a good Pop-Tart in a year.
it's even
Hey, we need to get Pop-Tarts on the next Walmart order. I'm serious. I'm writing it down, dude. That is Pop-Tarts. Blueberry.
oh yeah.
Blueberry's the only ones.
Blueberry. My dad goes classic. He's big on just the brown sugar cinnamon ones, and I won't rag on them, but man, the blueberry ones and the s'more ones, those are probably my top two.
The
With a
s'mores.
glass of milk, s'mores.
Big fan.
Yeah. Do they still
Big
come
fan.
with stripes? You know what I'm talking about? To where
Yep.
you can like pick them. Oh,
They ain't changed in 20
Go to
years,
Walmart
man.
as soon as we get done. I'm telling you right now, it's gonna happen. That's good. Pop Tarts. I forgot all about that,
Yeah,
man. I'm
that's
gonna
that's always the morning snack and everything. In the afternoon, I normally have like a snack stick or jerky or something with me, for the afternoon hunt, something like that. My favorite is when I can have like my venison sticks, the processor that I've used. They make like a,
Hmm.
a jalapeno cheese or a chipotle cheese little,
yeah.
sausage stick. I love taking those in the woods. That's my favorite probably right there. Hey, folks, if you guys are in the North Texas area like I am, then you need to go to Bear River Archery and Pro Shop in Van Alstyne, Texas. Justin and the guys up there have an incredible operation set up. They will take great care of you and all of your archery needs. They are the official bow shop in North Texas, a Fall Obsession. I love going there, and I'm picky. If you guys know me, I am very selective on who I let work on my bow. I will let Justin work on my bow. They do great stuff. Check out Bear River Archery and let them know that Fall Obsession sent you.
Yes. What about you?
I'm a big fan of the little chocolate donuts. They come in like a pack of six.
Yeah, like the little powdered donuts, except they're chocolate.
Yep, chocolate ones though. Powdered ones, it's too messy. You trying to
Yeah.
keep it clean a little bit and still lick the chocolate off your fingers and be clean still.
Yeah.
Big fan of those. And then I'm
You
I'm
wait
a
till you
lot
eat the whole batch before you clean your fingers too. You got to have that
absolutely
built up,
absolutely yeah. You
man.
don't stop.
Yeah,
You can't
yeah.
stop in the middle. That just
Power
don't make any
through.
sense.
It's part of the donut process. Is that's a whole nother
Yeah.
situation. Is the buildup. I
Yeah, it's
feel
like
you.
the donut dessert right there.
Yeah, yeah. Good
Then
deal.
I'm along the same lines as y'all. I like the beef jerky in the afternoons and nice string cheese. I'm a big string cheese fan.
Whew, you own that on your own, Bubba. No,
I'll
y'all
take
are
it.
kind
I'll
of
take it.
young too. So y'all are. How old are y'all?
We're like,
32.
yeah, 28.
Okay. All right. Well, we're all the same age then.
Yeah, we're,
So
we're
you're, well, you said 28, 32. I'll be 30
Hmm.
this month. Okay.
yeah,
Well,
we're all right in there.
you guys
Yeah,
do. Y'all look, it's just something about Texas sun, I guess, and rain when y'all
that's
get
what
it.
it is.
Yeah. Y'all got good skin. I'm going to look 78 when I'm 46. So pretty much been able to buy alcohol since I was like 12 years old at VBS. But yeah. But yeah, no, that's I was gonna say, that's gonna catch up to you. I try not to eat honestly if I can. The first when I'm hunting at hunting camp, I try not to eat the whole day and just pig out at supper time.
hmm
If I can do that, because then I can take all those snacks that you're talking about, the Pop Tarts, the honey buns, the oatmeal cream pies, plus a good cheeseburger or steak or something like that. And
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
so because if not, I'll be 270 pounds.
Yeah.
That's
One
hard.
thing I started doing was getting like if I'm gonna have like an all day sit or somewhere, if I'm sitting somewhere where I'm gonna be out there until lunchtime, I'll grab a couple Uncrustables and throw them in my pack.
Golly, y'all are just claiming just, I mean, big ones. Yes,
Love the
uncrusted.
Uncrustables. Can't beat them.
I'm gonna tell you the best way that I don't know if y'all ever talk about food this much on here, but if your listeners are listening to this point, you need to really turn the volume up. The only way to eat an Uncrustable is completely freeze it, take it out of the freezer, take two of them out. Don't take one. You'll have to eat two. Two of them, put it on a paper plate, and put it in the microwave for 20 seconds. And the peanut butter is still frozen, but the jelly is hot. And gosh,
Hmm.
it's orgasmic.
Okay.
Inappropriate, but I'm just telling you, it'll get you in trouble with your wife. I promise you.
I'm gonna have to try that one for sure.
It's good. Yep.
I'm gonna back the train up for just a second. Did you
Oh, food, man.
did you say earlier that when you were 12 or whatever, you looked like you were old enough to buy alcohol at VBS? Is that what you said?
Yes.
Where do you come up with this, man? I've never heard that in my life.
It's coming from a crazy bloodline. All right, just a bunch. Have a bit in my stand up. I just started doing stand up, and when I was doing a set the other night, I one of my bits is, and it's very true. It's all a true story. Um, but one of them, I'm not going to go into great detail with it or tell all the details, but one of my jokes is, if you come from a bloodline of wife beating arsonist who gets circumcised at the age of 50, you could probably do TikTok too. And that's 100% true. That was my grandfather. Okay. All he did was drink beer and beat his family, and he was pretty funny though when he wasn't doing it, I mean, he was. Everybody loved him except his own family. And
Wow.
everybody else thought he was cool. But yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. It's just, yeah. That is the pro of this mind. The one pro is when you're this crazy, you can monetize it. So that part's nice. But
Yeah.
We do live in 2025, so
yeah,
that's a big part of 2025, you know.
yeah. If A&E could have followed my grandfather around, obviously they would never have gone live with him. Never. Oh, that was so many lawsuits. But man, they could have made a show that would make Shelby Stanga off Axeman look like Princess Diana.
Oh man. Yeah, I'm not creative enough. I see your videos or folks that are, grinding away doing the same thing, and some of the stuff that, just seems like it just flows into your video, some of the one-liners. I'm just like, man, I would never be able to say anything like that in a million years, man. I'm not that creative.
Nope.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah,
blessing. It's a blessing.
it is, man. It is. But they all come from, yeah, just a crazy, crazy, crazy place.
That's
So,
awesome. You mentioned it a second ago. I was gonna ask because I did see the reel or whatever it was about you doing a stand up now. How'd that go?
dude, I loved it. I loved it. I think the audience had a good time. It was a room, I think, between 300 and 350 people. And I opened for Zach Rushing, and he told me, he's like, yeah, he's like, dude, go up there and do like 15 minutes. And he asked me after before the show, he said, what's the last time you've timed it? I said 15:50. He said, well, you're probably gonna do 20. He said, that's no problem. He said, we don't have hard times here. But he said, you're not accounting for laugh breaks, it's your first time, all this kind of stuff. I got off stage and he's like, he's laughing and everything. He's like, dude, you did a great job. Question, how long do you think you went? And I was like, 21, 22 minutes. He's like, you did 33. I was like, oh crap. All right. So we got
Ooh.
I got to trim the fat. There was a lot of stuff in there, a lot of details that I can definitely leave out that people weren't laughing at. But yeah, man, I had a great time with it, and I'm supposed to be opening for him later on in the summer, like I want to say around August and September, doing some shows with him. And yeah, I would love to get into this and really, like 2026 or 2027, be doing a tour,
Yeah.
be doing a tour. It was a lot of fun. I told a buddy of mine, he asked me, he does social media too. And he asked me how it went that night. And I told him, I said, man, I said, you know how it feels when you get a 10 million view video on Facebook or whatever? He said, yeah. I said, it's that times 30
Wow.
Mm.
because, you don't get any redos. If a joke doesn't hit, it's not like, all right, let me back up and re-edit this thing and cut it a little closer here. It's like, but when you have a live audience, it's just when you have a punchline that you're thinking they're going to laugh on and the room explodes, it's just like, oh, this is the best. Makes you feel real good when that happens.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
awesome.
it's only a matter of time before you don't have to worry about a 15-minute time constraint either, and it's your show, and you can go however
For
long you need
sure.
to. I feel like that's not too far off for you. So
Dude, and what's crazy is I changed my set the day before the show because I was going to do 4 bits. I did two,
mm,
and it took me 33 minutes. And like I said, a lot of that could be cut down, way down. But I've got I've just got a ton of content in my head and material that stuff has happened to me. and that I've like written jokes off of it and all this kind of stuff. And you know, I mean, I think I'm ready. I'm ready to be able to go up there for an hour, and just be like, if you thought I was crazy, let me just tell you about the last 15 years, you know? So,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's a good time, man.
So are you like just in your normal like coming up with your videos and doing all that kind of stuff? Is it just an idea that pops in your head, or you just talked about how you have a bunch of stuff kind of rolling around in there or stacking up? Like, are you actually writing out a script for these things, or is it just spur of the moment? Hey, I got an idea, or a little bit of both.
No, it's always spur of the moment. Well, it's not spur of the moment because I plan when I'm going to film.
Hmm.
I just have to make sure that I have premises for that. It's like this morning I woke up and I didn't know exactly what I was going to film on, but I go back and I'm like, all right, what's done good? And I hadn't put it out yet, but it's a video of I've got it titled. I got my wife to film it for me. Hide and seek with boys is different. So I'm doing that. Like hide and seek with boys is different. I'm playing hide and seek with my 3-year old. Um, I will as long as I have a premise. You know, you can give me 5 or 10 minutes and I can come up with a good hook or what I believe to be is a good hook. And then I will shoot 1 to 2 scenes and I'll throw it in CapCut and start editing it. And then I'll shoot and edit at the same time.
Okay.
That way I can make sure everything flows and I don't just shoot, change clothes, shoot. You don't have to do a bunch of going back and forth. It's just easier if I can just, shoot and edit at the same time. And that way, because I've done like today, I did some stuff and, I shot one scene and I threw it in the editor and it was like, it just didn't, it honestly didn't make sense. It just didn't flow right. So doing it that way really helps me, but it's always just on the fly, on the spot,
Yeah,
if you will, improvising or whatnot. So,
I got you. No, that makes sense. Man, it's a time commitment. I imagine for sure, especially at the rate you seem to be dishing stuff out. Like, I mean, we're a media company and we all have full-time jobs outside of it too, and I feel like I'm always stacked up with projects and stuff that I got to work on, and like yeah, it's a respect, man, because it's a full-time commitment to knock something like that out for sure and stay consistent with it on top of that. So,
well, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I try to, just every day, if I can, try to write down something that comes up that I really think would do good, put it in my notes. And if not, I get up and I try to think of the most harebrained thing that I can think about that's going to make people laugh, that's relatable, and try to shoot it. So,
Heck yeah.
that's awesome. Yeah, that like we talked about at the beginning, like the relatability I think is certainly what makes it stick for folks. What was the jump like just to get into it at the beginning? Because we can all I feel like so many people have great ideas in their head, but actually executing that and making it excuse me, making it happen, that's for some people that's a big jump, right? And that takes some willpower. What was that like for you?
it wasn't for me because I was already in the insurance industry. So I got insurance licensed in 2020 and I got investment licensed in 21. And since then, all I have done is try to build a book of clients. Um, to I haven't done much insurance in the last few years, but I've done just trying to get investment clients, Roth IRA, stuff like that. In doing that stuff, I've never had the company, my broker dealer, reach out and give me leads. They just don't do that. They give you a sponsorship essentially to come and get licensed, and then you have to go build your book. So I had been used to 100% commission sales. I had been used to unorthodox. I had been used to failing. you know, I had been used to talking to people and all this kind of stuff and just really putting myself out there. So essentially, Primerica gave me that thick skin to know as long as I'm consistent long enough, I'll be successful. I'll be able to pay my bills and whatnot and whatever. And I'm not afraid to fail. I'm not afraid to try because that's, I mean,
Yeah.
that's the biggest. I think that's the biggest holdup for most people is the fact that they just are so worried about failing and what people will think. Well, when I started in August of 23, I was already used to, like cold calling. I was used to meeting people, meeting school district superintendents and, being like, hey, can I be a 403B provider for y'all and them running me around and all this kind of stuff. I mean, I'd already been used to that uncomfortability, is what I'm saying. So it was definitely I feel like the good Lord put that there not just to allow me to do that as part of my living, but also to help be a stepping stone into this, because would I have ever done this had I had been in finance,
Mm-hmm.
and had to put myself out there and get really uncomfortable. I don't think I would have.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I can see, man, just from the fact that people are just so afraid of embarrassing themselves,
Yep.
and not even in the sense of dressing up like their wife and making a skit, but doing a podcast, doing a YouTube channel about whatever, and then having that one buddy call you or text you and be like, "Oh, you trying to be the next Joe Rogan? Are you? Are you trying to be Mr. TikTok? You trying to be famous? Da 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 da." People are worried about that, and I think that's why they don't.
Hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
so it
Well,
screws a lot of. There's a lot of people that are better than us at this that don't do it.
oh yeah. Well, and there are also people out there who do have those motives that maybe aren't, are a little more on the self-centered side, right? Whereas I feel like, especially with what you're trying to do, you've already talked about how you're trying to be relatable to people and put stuff out there that makes them laugh, makes them kind of cut up about everyday problems and stuff like that. And like, I mean, that at the end of the day, just something as simple as that, right, is a wholesome motive in my opinion. And there's people who don't have that, who are looking for the fame and fortune that is apparently out there somewhere. I ain't found it, but
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I've had people, man, that's reached out to me on social media and been like, man, your video every day is what I look forward to, or I was doing this and I fell into this and I started watching your stuff and da 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 da. And it's always very motivating um to know that you can help people like that. But I mean, but I do, man. I really wish. I mean, the pie is so big that everybody can eat off of it. Well, especially when it comes to social media.
oh yeah.
You know, I mean, I wish that there were more people would, get involved and, do podcasts and YouTube channels and short form content, long form, whatever, because there's just there's too many people that's hating what they do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's too many
Yeah.
people that are settling for 40 to 50 years of hell, just their own personal hell, for a little bit of comfort.
Hmm.
For a little bit of comfort, knowing that hey, I'm gonna have a 2 week in 2 weeks, I'm gonna have a paycheck.
Hey guys, Trophy Edits is a Fall Obsession podcast partner. We all have mounts on our walls that represent a significant moment, a significant harvest in the woods for each and every one of us, and photographs can do the same. I'm sure you guys have pictures from years past, hunting with loved ones or being in the woods with family and friends that also represent those big moments. And what Trophy Edits does is they showcase those moments for you guys, just absolutely make your pictures explode and to the level that you guys can put them on the wall and also have that memory forever represented in your home, your office, your man cave, whatever it might be. Give Trophy Edits a chance to do the work for you guys. And again, they make those pictures just absolutely awesome with their professional team of editors. So go to Trophy Edits website. The link is in the podcast description. That lets them know that you guys came from us, and use the code FALLOBSESSION at checkout to save you guys some money.
And I know that's they're just, and it's like, man, just go out there and try it.
Yeah.
If you fail, heck, at least you can say, well, hey, I tried it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I like, what I enjoy about the podcast the most. And not that I certainly do not hate my full-time job. Nick and I are both firefighters. That's our full-time gig, and we love it. But, hunting's always been such a huge staple in my life and everything. And, there's even stuff with the podcast that, oh man, I gotta figure out my schedule. I gotta make sure we have guests lined up for every week and this and that and the other. But it's these conversations. It's when I actually get to sit down and talk to people that wouldn't have the opportunity to get to know or interact with otherwise, right? That's what I value with it and everything, at the end of the day. And yeah, I do for that reason. Same thing. I wish more people could try it because it opens so many more doors for you. You get to know more people and you get to learn more stuff, right, from these people who are in
Yeah.
different walks of life than you are. That's my 2 cents on the matter, at least. But yeah,
Yeah. And if you got a podcast, I mean, good gosh, if Joe Rogan's podcast, it took him 5 years for the podcast to pay for itself
yeah,
and doing $250 million deals with Spotify. So, I mean, I know we're not all going to be a Joe Rogan, but at the same time, it's like, dude, once you have I feel like a following on a podcast is 10 times better than anything else because your listeners love you so much that they want to carve out, 30 minutes to an hour and a half or whatever it is out of their day to just listen to you guys and whoever y'all are talking to talk.
Hmm.
That's
blows my
pretty,
mind.
like you can not like me and just watch me out of spite, just to comment. You've only wasted a minute of your day. You know what I mean? Like on the commode at work, just throwing hate. That's fine, but if you're watching a podcast, like you can grow a following off a podcast. You can grow a daggum cult, so
Yeah, it blows my mind every time I get our weekly and monthly and quarterly reports. I'm like, there ain't no way this many people want to hear what we have to say.
yeah, yeah,
But
that's
I'm
cool.
grateful that they do. I'm grateful that they do. I've never hunted in Mississippi, and I don't think Nick has either. Um, do y'all have, and this might sound like a dumb question, right? But do y'all have hogs like we have hogs in Texas, in Mississippi?
Ah, you know, everywhere that I've been in Texas, I have never seen the amount of hogs be that much different than here. I'll
Okay.
say that. I don't know how to say I don't know to say yes or no to that because I guess it's depending on where you are. I
Yeah.
mean, I can take you to places. I can take you to places. Um, yeah. Well, I think we probably don't have as many as y'all just because y'all states got 2 to 3 times the size of geographically speaking or whatever. States bigger than ours, but maybe per capita or whatever, it's got to be pretty close, man. Because I feel like everywhere around here, unless you get down like right on the beach, pretty much everywhere you go, you can go somewhere real close to here. I had a ton of hogs right here at my house 2 years ago when we bought this place, a ton of them.
Hmm.
Close to here on public, not far at all. I can take you and we can 100% get on hogs, get on a lot of hogs, where I hunted at in college, tons of hogs, tons of hogs. Um, but I will tell you this, I know we look at them like y'all do. I don't know the number, but we look at them like if you see them, shoot them.
Yeah, they're done.
And if you want to haul it out, great. But if you don't, leave it. Buzzards got to eat, same as worms.
Yeah.
So, it's like, oh, outlaw Josie Wales said it. That's it
Yeah.
right there.
Yeah. Yeah, so many people, mainly from up north, obviously, that don't know. They're like, wait, y'all shoot just these ridiculous numbers of pigs at nighttime sometimes and do nothing with them? Like, yes, like I'll say it. Yes, we will. And that's how hog hunting works in the South. They're a nuisance and they repopulate too quick. Gotta get rid of them. So
I think it would be. I think we could probably sell some hunting for pigs here if it was more open.
yeah,
That's pretty much what I don't like about Mississippi hunting in general is everywhere I go outside of Mississippi, for the most part, you can get in places and glass,
mm,
whether that be deer, turkeys, hogs, Doesn't matter. Everywhere else, it seems to be just a lot more open to where you can just sit back with some binos and actually pattern animals,
Yeah.
watch their behavior. Here, you're staring at trees. You got to get in the woods, and then you got to, more than likely, you're going to bump them, whether they smell you or see you or whatever, and try to find crossings or whatever and set up on them and wait. Um, but yeah, I mean, here, hog specific, yeah, we got a lot of them, a lot of hogs, and I think it's grown in the last. I know it's grown in the last 5 to 10 years on a couple of pieces of public because there used to be only about 3 roads you could go down, and there'd be hogs on it. Now, all 20 of them, you can kill a ton of hogs on. So,
Yeah. Well, you guys, you might get to go other places and be able to glass for them. We might have more wide open spaces where you can see them, but you guys can get higher up in a tree, and I'm a little jealous
yeah,
of that.
That's a fact.
yeah,
I think the tallest tree stand we got on our place might be that little hang on that you put in on that one stand your dad's got, Nick. It might be close to 20 feet up, but that's
I don't even, maybe not even
yeah,
that. It's
I'm
probably
being generous
more like
probably.
15.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm being generous. That's about as tall as you can get out in our neck of the woods. So
Texas honestly is one state that I'm not jealous of. Like when it comes to what you're talking about there, yeah, it'd be different if I owned 500 to 1,000 acres of, Southwest Texas with, huge deer. But no, I, I'm, uh, I'm not jealous of y'all in Texas at all. Y'all got it pretty, especially from a public land standpoint. Y'all got it kind of rough. So,
well, and I'm sure
I'm
you
telling you,
are what you've probably educated yourself on the matter, but you're probably the first guy that's ever actually told me that they're not jealous of of us in Texas because
that's
normally
true.
everybody's like, "Oh man, I'd love to come down there and hunt Texas." And I'm like, "Well, here's what you're in for. Here's what it looks
Yeah,
like."
and
So,
pretty much the only opportunity you have is at an outfitter if you don't know anybody,
yeah.
because the public land, it's not a secret that y'all's public land is hard,
Oh yeah.
and because it's so small, y'all just don't have a lot.
Mhm.
Pretty much everywhere else in the country, Midwest and the Southeast and all that kind of stuff. I mean, it's there's a lot to choose from. Texas, y'all ain't got nothing. So
No. Yeah, it's like you just said, the public's hard. People hold their private land pretty close to their hearts around here, and yeah, that seems like a southern thing because I've gone like out west, like Colorado, Montana, Idaho, and you're either able to get access to land really easily. Like, I mean, there is kind of sometimes a connection there, but you can still get access, or there's just so much public that you can go for days without seeing another soul, which is just
yeah,
mind-boggling to me. So
I will say I do when you're not talking about hunting and you're just talking about Texas in general. Outside of the cities, I love the people from Texas.
oh yeah,
To me, the people from Texas, I think y'all still beat and love your kids all the same, and I appreciate that. Because we
yep,
don't do that in this country anymore.
right,
It's
I
just
know.
you're either a terrible father and you beat the crap out of them and you just don't love them and you're not there and you're screwing around on the mama, or you're the dad that just doesn't do anything and we're going to sit in a wicker chair and time out and that's going to be your punishment, and then you're going to shoot up a school and we're going to go, where'd that come from?
oh my
you know
gosh,
Yeah,
it's like Texas actually has that still figured out to where you know how to raise kids and you're not afraid to.
yeah,
yeah.
Uh, I just meet a lot of really good, gritty people in Texas, and yeah, that's I love that.
well, yeah,
Love that.
it's all in the circles you run in because I'm pretty sure any state you go to a big city, Texas included, and you get it's more blue, it's more left leaning, and all the kinder, gentler stuff that comes with that, you know. But yeah,
Yeah,
you start getting out into the country and everything. Yeah, those old school values are still there. So
yeah,
yeah.
that's right.
So have you? And I know we're getting close to our hour mark and everything, and I'll be wrapping up here in a little bit. And this kind of leads me into some of our closing questions. But do you like deer, turkey, pigs, the stuff that you have there in Mississippi? That's obviously like bread and butter for you. But have you traveled outside of that genre of animals? Have you hunted anything else out there? Is there anything that you really want to hunt that you haven't gotten to yet? What's the bucket list look like for you?
It's elk,
Elk.
like a lot of people. Elk, I want to go and I want to hunt elk one time. I would love to, talking about being primitive, I would love to go on just a public land backcountry elk hunt with 4 or 5 buddies. Not really care who gets the elk, just be a part of the hunt, go out there and tent camp and, all that kind of stuff. Um, I would say eventually bear.
Hmm.
um, Eventually. But I mean, really and honestly, it, I tell buddies of mine this that that have mule deer. I had a buddy in South Dakota that, I went up there to deer hunt, and he said, "Man, we've got a really really nice mule deer on this place too. I know you come up to hunt whitetail, but if you see this mule deer, you need to shoot him. He's like 170 inches."
Dang.
And I'm, brother, I don't care if he's 180. If 130 whitetail walks out, I'm punching him. Like, so like I'm still at that point. Like I think deer is my tip top, and then turkey's rubbing its neck right there. And then everything else is under it. So I'm really wanting to get out and chase. I'm wanting to get out and chase deer, whitetail deer, all over the country
Yeah.
more than I am anything else. But I mean, dude, I went and smacked a bunch of mallards in Oregon this past year. That
Nice.
was never been on a duck hunt that fun. That was fun. Turkey hunting all over the place. That's a ton of fun. So just getting out there and hunting normal thing. I'm not really, just like I said, bear, but I'm not really into hunting a lot of things that could eat me and kill me. I have no desire to go to Africa. None.
You're
I
you're
mean,
not ready to do the Cam Haines grizzly hunt yet, huh?
no, no, no. I mean, I drive the side by side to the garbage. I'm not. No, I don't run. None of that. So
What? You don't throw it over your shoulder and hike it to the garbage can? That's crazy. That's crazy.
no, I
Me
hit the
neither.
button side by side and it drops down. And I,
We're back to the bougie side by side, yeah.
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
like it.
No, me and Cam, he'll probably never holler at me. I mean, I get it. That's fine, but no. Yeah, it would be cool to do some backcountry stuff though. But right now, I mean, my biggest bucket list would be going somewhere. Right now, my bucket list main object is to kill a deer over 130 inches because I ain't never done it before. I've never killed a really big, 130 plus inch deer.
Yeah.
So that's on the bucket list right now. But I do draw my line. I don't want to go to a high fence. All right.
Right.
I joke about high fence and putting it on a leash for me and all that stuff. I do want to have an element of real hunting in there.
Hey guys, thanks for listening to the show. Hope you guys are enjoying it. There's so many different places that you guys can tune in to Fall Obsession Podcast, and one of them is the Outdoor Call radio app. Outdoors Dan from Respect the Game TV, he created an app that you can download on any device where you can stream hunting shows and podcasts on a loop every single day. Our show, Fall Obsession Podcast, plays on that loop on Mondays. That's the same day as our new publications on the other apps. And there's also tons of other hunting shows and podcasts on there that you guys can listen to. Go download the Outdoor Call radio app today. It is free. You can start streaming immediately. And be sure that you follow their Facebook page, because Outdoors Dan does some live radio shows throughout the week. And even if you are not local to those radio stations, his broadcasts are shared on his Facebook Live. It's Outdoors Dan and the Outdoor Call radio app. Go download it today.
Sure. But yeah, just chasing them big whitetails, man. That's pretty
awesome,
much
man.
it.
And
Everywhere.
I think for a lot of us, it boils back down to that at the end of the day, because like I'm the same way. I got all these dreams for western hunts and stuff like that, but at the end of the day, like the love is for bow hunting whitetails back home. Like that's kind of what it comes down to for me, for sure. And I've honestly never really been a big turkey hunter, but this year Nick and I had a bunch of our Fall Obsession guys here out to our place and had a little turkey hunt weekend down there with a bunch of guys, and I got to have my son out there with me. He's almost 7, and it was his first time to hunt turkeys. And just watching his excitement, I was kind of like, I might be getting into this a little bit more. He's out there
Yeah.
calling and getting them to answer and everything. And I was like, there's something about this that I think I haven't really fully tapped into myself as a grown man. So might need to spend some more time in the future.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, that's something that's moved up on my bucket list a little bit is working on that turkey slam, trying to get them all the species in America at least, but
Yeah.
especially this season because this season I shot a gobbler and it's the first one I've shot in probably 9 years, and it had not it didn't come from a place of like not wanting to, just we didn't have a good place to go ever.
Yeah.
And so now we have our place, and this is the fourth year. We're going into the fourth year, and we finally got some pictures of some turkeys. And so I was able to get out there and get one, and it was awesome. Just the coolest experience ever. So that's that's
Was it
crawled
a
up
Rio?
crawled up on my list. Yeah, it was. Yes, sir.
And you said that's the first one you've killed in 9 years.
hmm
So the how many birds have you killed?
Probably 4 or 5 in my whole life.
Rios in Texas?
All of them.
Oh man, I'm gonna be honest with you. It's hard to beat a Rio. Rios and
Okay.
Miriams, those are some of the two funnest species to kill because they're gonna gobble and they're gonna work. If you can get them in that calling distance, they're gonna answer and they're gonna work. I mean, it's
Yeah.
Eastern suck where I hunt them. Go out there and they could literally be within eyesight, and you go, and they just like, no.
I'm
It
good.
just, I mean, I don't know what their deal is. I hate them, but yeah, Rios and Miriam's, man, it's gonna be hard to top that. So
Yeah.
it's just like anything else, I don't want to go too long without pulling the trigger on something in turkey season. I love it, but thank God it's right there at the end of deer season, so I can slowly, get used to that 2 month gap in the summertime where I've got to sit here and twiddle my thumbs and find some tannerite, blow something up.
There you go. Heck yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah, that backcountry experience, Trent. Like I won't take up too much time on the podcast, but I got to do that for exactly what you're talking about for the first time this last year, and on a
2024.
in 2024 September went on a Idaho elk hunt, and we did just that, like the whole backpack in on horseback. We went 25 miles back, like the whole deal. And
Yeah,
I will say, like, it was one of the most rewarding, humbling, and difficult hunts I've ever been on. And in hindsight, I would freaking go back and do it again. Like, it
that's what I
just,
was going to ask. Is it one of those things you do again
yeah,
multiple
like,
times?
I will tell you, day three up there, I was like, this sucks. This sucks. This is a lot of work.
Yeah,
But by day 7, I had come full circle, and I was like, this is pretty freaking awesome. And yeah, certainly like coming back out and coming home and having time to reflect on it and everything. And it's like, yeah, I would do that again in a heartbeat, especially now knowing kind of what to expect. It'd be even more fun and now. But yeah, there's nothing like it, man. It'll change your life. So it's
yeah.
awesome.
It's on the bucket list, man. I've got to make it happen. But now that I know you said your son was 7, we've got a little boy and got a little girl on the way, and with
Awesome.
having kids, it's I do want to go, but at the same time, it's like one of those things that I may wait till he's 10 or 11, 12 years old where he can go with me.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
absolutely.
Uh,
Yeah.
but yeah,
He's just now getting to that age where he's really getting the bug, and especially like he's gone deer hunting with me a few times and he's been interested in it, but especially seeing like his interest with the turkey hunting this spring, because like he had an old box call. Like this box call's probably older than I am. Like my dad had it, back in the day, and he was just manipulating it and everything and talking soft to him, and like just watching his brain work with that thing and like catching on so quick and talking to those birds. I was like, yeah, you're going to be dangerous here in a couple of years. And then like even right now, he wants to do everything. Right now he's waiting on me because I told him this afternoon we got to mow the yard, and it's the first time he's going to get to mow on the zero turn. We've been working on him driving it, and now he's all excited because he's like, I get to mow on the mower this time, so he's all excited for this afternoon.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. That is awesome. Good for you, brother. I
Yeah.
can't wait. Yeah, I can't wait for my little boy to be at that point. Hopefully, I don't ruin him. I'm trying not to do. I've been told by everybody like don't force them in the woods. When you go to the woods and they get ready to leave, leave. Get out of there. You know, let them be loud. Let them do all this kind of stuff because whatever he likes to do, whatever she likes to do, I'll do with them. But man, I hope they like to hunt just a little bit. It's
Yeah.
a dream of mine right there. That's you talking about the bucket list. Sharing that with my kids, that beats everything.
Yeah.
Everything. It's the only
100%.
time I could
Yeah,
go hunt and not kill anything and be 100%.
Yeah. Absolutely, man. I
that's cool.
I think that's like for him, I haven't put any pressure on him. It's always, hey, I'm going. Do you want to go? Even just as a little 6-year-old, and yeah, I want to go. So it's kind of I'm not making him go like you're going to the woods with me this weekend or anything like that. Everything out there, and yeah, I've had to learn. It's taught me a lot more patience for sure, and I've had to learn that there's definitely some hunts where you go into it knowing like this is not a hunt where I'm going to have a legitimate chance at anything. I'm doing
Yeah.
it for him to be able to enjoy it. So
Yeah.
that's been good for both of us. So
That's awesome.
yeah.
That's awesome. Good deal.
Well, man, I'll ask you this, and we'll wrap it up. The other question I like to ask anybody that joins us for the first time on the show, aside from the bucket list, is to this date, what is one of your favorite hunting memories that you have? And tell us a little bit about it.
Oh goodness, favorite. Oh golly. Um, favorite hunting memories.
It's normally a selection process for most guests.
Yeah,
It's a good thing you're having to think about. I mean, there's a lot
yeah,
of
that's
memorable
that's
moments.
right.
So,
I'm blessed. I'm blessed to have to roll through the Rolodex and
yeah,
kind of, that's right. I don't know, man. I mean, I feel I feel like probably the very first deer that I killed would probably be the most meaningful. The most fun was the deer that I killed in South Dakota,
yeah,
just because getting to call it in, getting and shooting it with my bow at 40 yards for me, that's a long shot. And that was like, heck
yeah,
yeah, it was my first state deer. Um, that was the most fun. The most memorable was my first deer. That was at 9 years old. I mean, I'm coming off a year when I was 8 is when I shot my first deer, and it was evident. I didn't even see the rack. I just remember my uncle saying, "Hey, there's a 6 point right there. Get your gun up and everything." And I found the leg, and it was right at dark. And I found this leg, and I shot and ended up hitting the deer low, and never finding it. And so I was tore up about that for a full year. And then when I'm 9, my brother, we're supposed to go hunting one Saturday morning, and we wake up and it's 5:30 and it's raining. And I won't ever forget. He was like, "We can go if you want to." I'm like, "Trey, we're hunting in a shoot house. We have like a 50-yard walk. We're not getting wet very much. Let's go." And so we get out there and we get in the shoot house. And I don't think we're there, but maybe a half an hour. And I look to my right and a doe walks out. I'm like, oh crap, there she is, and I'm getting on her, and I get on her, and I'm sure like I'm crosshairs right behind the front shoulder, squeeze the trigger, boom, she mule kicks up. We're celebrating. I know I hit her and hit her good. Get down, find some blood, go down the hill to my uncle's house, get his dog Dixie, chocolate lab, bring her up there, and she's got on a short leash and she's trying to just pull us into the ground. We get her out there and let her go, and she finds the deer. And my brother goes up to the deer first, and he's like, "Let me make sure she's dead." And he goes up there and spreads her legs. And he's like, "Trent, she's got balls. You killed a buck." And so the first deer that I killed was a little spike, and you would have thought it was a 167 inch open. You know what I'm saying? Like I was just, and I had my little 243. You know, we took it to a friend of ours to skin it and hang it up in their cooler and everything. And once we got it gutted and all, I was taking pictures with it, standing up on it like this, and everything. And I was just like, and it was when we were taking pictures. Y'all remember those disposable?
Yep.
Was that when you went to Walmart to get it filled, you'd have red eyes, and everything. You'd have
Oh
100
yeah.
to go through, but you know, and I'd take a Ziploc bag that next week to school with 2 or 3 pictures in there showing people like, "Look, I just killed my first deer." That was to me. I mean, I just remember dang near everything about that hunt. So
Dang.
and that's what started the whole thing. That's because of that day. For some
Hmm.
reason, the good Lord was just like, "You're gonna love this more than anything else that you do in life." And yeah, so that's probably it.
That's awesome, man. Man, you took me back with those disposable cameras, man. I remember
Yeah,
that.
big
Like my
time.
my dad would get one, and that was the one for deer season. Like anything we kill, we were gonna take it on that, and we waited until like deer season's 3 months long. We would have to wait until deer season was over, and that camera was completely used before we'd get to see the pictures from the deer we killed at the beginning of the year. Man, I hadn't thought about that in a long time, man. That's it took me
And the
back.
amount of trust that you put in the person behind that camera.
Oh yeah.
You know what I
Oh
mean? Like
yeah.
the amount of trust, like you're sitting there and they're doing that and then you get to the point, or the worst feeling is when you kill a deer and you've got a camera that works and you go to turn that little zzz, 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 and it's not turning like that. It's just free spinning and
Yep.
you're like, "Hey, is this camera work? Like, do we have film in here? Is this reloaded? Like, or is this good? Oh crap, that's an old one. Well, just missed this entire
Memory.
shoot of this deer.
Yep.
Never wanted to relive this again." And then that moment, you know,
Yeah.
Sounds like a
yeah,
good skit that could be a video in the near future.
There you go.
Nick, you're very, very correct, sir. That's exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
I remember that. You get a finger like in the way or something like that, messing
Yep.
it up.
Have that pink blur. Looks like a bad sunset coming
Yep.
down into the picture. Yeah. Yep. Yep.
Yeah. Oh,
Several of those.
good stuff, man. Well, hey Trent, thank you for joining us for a podcast and coming on here with us, man. I really appreciate it. It's been a good time and enjoyed talking to you and chatting it up for a little bit. Thank you.
Man, yeah. Thank y'all for having me.
Yeah, our pleasure, man. For our listeners tuning in, thanks for listening. Go follow Trent, show him some love. It ain't hard. All you got to do is pretty much search Trent Ellis on any platform, and he's going to be the guy with all the followers and all the videos. He's pretty popular out there. He's got some good stuff. So show him some love. Thanks for listening to the podcast. Follow and subscribe if you haven't already, and we will be back with you guys again next week for another episode. I will catch you then.